Finances. Thank you. Our family finances. Today's just starting the conversation. How you doing? Don't hesitate to chat. If you have any questions, thank you. Please share on your social media sites. Please share this. We're going to start in a second. Family finances. Write down my number. Sadie White. Sadie White with the camera on. I love it. Nobody can see you but me. Only I can see you. I love you. I love you. We had a beautiful Sunday at Sunrise this morning. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you all so much. Yes. What a great day. This is the first time I've done anything on a Sunday afternoon, Monica. The first time. But what better to talk about on the Lord's Day? Every day is the Lord's Day. When I was growing up, they said Lord's Day. Did they call Sunday Lord's Day for you, Sadie White? Say Lord's Day. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're all the Lord's days. But this is the day. Please know that I'm still acknowledging that Sabbath day. That Sabbath day. What happened to our, well, Weeda, you were in the studio and now you switched over. Next time you say a chat, it'll come up here with me so everybody can see it. How you doing, Monica? It's so good. Good to see your name. Good to see you, Mr. Lee. It is like good afternoon. Where are you, Mr. Lee? Where can I get information on Bitcoin investment? Looks like you can get that everywhere. Google, man. You're probably trying to give them a commercial. Sister can't even get a break. They get a commercial in my little stuff. I work on Sunday and they still get it. But for members of Afro Economics, I definitely can assist you with everything. Any investment decision that you have, real estate, cryptocurrency, your stock investments, everything. But this time, I just want to think about family finances and family financial discussions. I don't like to talk a lot about products because I'm a licensed investment advisor. And my responsibility is to look out for your interest when we talk about investments. And if I don't know you, I can't do that. So when we do our discussions publicly like this, when I'm talking to everybody, we're just talking about generic financial empowerment. Indeed. So today is about the importance of financial planning for our families, our family finances, and why it's important. And here's my notes. Family financial finances are important for the family because we have to get the conversation started to ensure that parents, couples, adult children, single children, families in general are aware of the various types of financial things that you're doing, financial assets that you own, and where the assets are actually held. And this would include like all of your investments, your retirement accounts, your insurance policies, and everything. So, in order to get that comfortable with talking to each other, we need to start the conversation. You know, you don't just start talking to somebody and you go, look at all this money. Look at everything I have. So, the family financial meetings, and we've talked a couple of times about this, right? That a family financial meeting is a great way to establish a relationship with your family members on a financial level. But also, I encourage you to, do a family meeting during your membership of Afro Economics. Like that you get the family involved in the discussion. We can do a Zoom family meeting. It gives me an opportunity to meet them. It increases the chances that something happens to you, that they continue with your financial legacy dreams for the family in mind. Oh, with us. The How about, I want to just end this when we're talking about the family financial topics, family financial discussions. Immediately someone says, oh, that's not applicable to me because I'm not whatever, fill in the blank. Everybody has a family. Everybody has family. So everybody needs to think about family financial matters and cultivating that relationship to talk freely with your family about money. How far they are extended. For some people, it's their niece and their nephews. For some people, it's their children. For some people, they have a spouse. For some people, their major financial goals are to address and help their parents and see how their parents are doing financially. We're going to have discussions on each of our Sundays that we do this. I wanted to address like some things that come up for me as a financial professional. I see the things that happen, and I feel it's my responsibility to help you have a heads up, give you some, hey, this is how you could consider handling this when talking with your parents about their goals for their future, things like that. So our family finances it can fall in, if we want to put it into some brackets, we can say it's money. We can just break it. I broke it into like 4 different parts: income and money, income, budgeting, outflows, controls. I'll put that all under there. So I have income. That'll be great if I could like, one day I'll edit into this video and it'll have like income right there, budgeting and outflows, control right here. Then I'll have saving, emergency funds, insurances, and then planning, investments, your financial strategies, your investment strategies. I can put it in that 4th section. It says, seems like one of your streams is having connection issues. Stand by. We're trying to restore the connection. They better get on that. That's a cute little note though. That's why I'm going to take it down so that you won't have to worry about it for right now. So let's look at some other things in family finance in my notes. So remember, income, budgeting, outflows, control, financial control, saving, emergency funds, insurances, planning, investing, and strategies. And this discussion, of course, will be in our YouTube archives. How are you doing? How are the Lawsons doing today? Indeed. So I want to make out some key points. This family financial discussion about family finances, usually around Valentine's Day, I'm approaching 30 years in financial services. And usually around Valentine's Day, I start talking about love and money. And I'm so glad that I thought about it earlier, and I thought about it because we were talking about things in life that just don't go exactly as planned. And when early in my business, because I started my business in my 20s, and so around and then one of the TV networks, ABC, had asked me to do a show called Family Finances. And then we were doing it twice a week. And of course, I wasn't paid anything. And they weren't putting my business name up or anything. So I was basically volunteering for regional network television. No phone number, no business name, nothing. So we were talking about just, things that have you've done, and then they didn't really work out for you. And I was saying that one day they just said, we don't want family finance show anymore. So they cut out the show. Nobody ever had the show. They never brought it back. So, I can't say it was like they didn't like me doing it. It wasn't of interest to them. And this was before YouTube, of course. So I'm like, all of these years, why didn't I ever think of doing my own just family finance time? Even if it doesn't stay a Sunday. If I think of something for family finances and it's on a Thursday, trust and know I'm going to bring it. Because I care deeply about the long-term wealth development of your family. I really, truly do. I believe that with the first principle of Afro economics being legacy, that was my point. That we have to know what we want to leave behind, because I'm convinced that, generational wealth is where it is, because it is so hard for us to think that in one generation we can accomplish all that God has planned for us. He said that we can have, money left for our children's children, and it is possible. It's possible. So, but I have to make sure that I'm discussing it, because the first generation tends to create that family fortune, because we're so like first after, if we looked at Reconstruction and when we were first given the opportunities to at least just try to purchase our own property and things. Now, granted, the opportunities, and it wasn't equal opportunity at all, and we were being overcharged, and the interest rates are horrible and everything. But still, extreme strides were made for our people, because we were fighting so hard to get ahead and to secure our freedom. And then the second generation benefits from those advantages of that first generation sacrifice. And then that's where, like, our parents started being, set, and they said, you got to go to college and get that education. And then they didn't go back to help at the family farm. They didn't go back and help at the family store. They didn't go back and help. No, they got a job, stayed somewhere else, moved away. And then the third generation comes along, and they know nothing about using outside plumbing. I was telling my daughter the other day, I was like, in my lifetime, when we would go to North Carolina, they had no indoor plumbing. She was like, and I was like, yeah, that they don't know about that. I remember when my grandmother got the bathroom built into the house. Years later, my other grandma got the bathroom built into the house. But if you look at it historically, in 1940s, that was a rarity. It said that 50% of Americans, not just Black Americans, 50% of Americans had no exposure to indoor plumbing in the 1940s. That wasn't really that long ago. So we've gotten so far from it, but we're really closer to it than we think. And how do we get our young people to understand that, or even ourselves to realize that we have so much to accomplish? The reason the wealth gap exists so much is because white generational wealth was able to be passed down. We started with the negative. We started owing people money to be sharecroppers and to buy land and to go get jobs. And then we had to go finance our clothes and our appliances and our houses and everything and the cars. We didn't have any money, so you're in negative land. And then we built a country on the interest that we have paid just to live freely. So we're still, in many ways, still slaves. So family finances becomes vitally important, Rosita. Vitally important, King Hollis. Indeed. Good to see you, King Hollis. You cut off your mustache. Don't know what you got. It's still there? I can't even see it. The picture on here is so small. Sadie, I'm bringing you in. You coming? Please, I wish you would. She said, no. She might punch me. Thank you, y'all, for staying in with me. I want y'all. But do you feel me on that, King Hollis? What I'm saying about that the third generation does not know how close they are to sitting on a pot to use the bathroom. Exactly. They don't know. They don't know that. They don't even remember. They didn't even just go visit for the summer and see what it was like and, things like that. And,
You're absolutely right.
But in many ways, they were better off than the family from the city that came down from living in an apartment. Because, see, the family down there, they actually more likely to own their land. They were less likely to be paying interest. The interest didn't really come into play until they tried to get that toilet built. And they came around and said, don't you want a toilet, Miss Bessie? Don't you want a toilet? So then she ends up having to refinance the house she owns to get the toilet done. So one of my movements now for 2022 is I want to show us how to create our own family banks so that we will stop flowing so much money outside of our families on every major purchase that we make. The interest is paid to someone outside of the family, to an institution outside of the family. Family finances is a vital point, and we have to teach them. We have to teach them how to be more, to more discipline. We have to teach them the discipline. We have to show them the sacrifices that were made. Because deep in that, when somebody will say, well, if I had to loan them the money in order to get this done, they'll never pay it back. But whose fault is that? If we raise a child that is so unethical that they are not committed to paying back to themselves, because who is going to inherit that? Who is going to inherit that which you are, the bank when it's paying back to? If the family has a bank and you don't pay back the loan, then who are you not paying back, Rosita? Who are you hurting?
Yourself.
You're hurting yourself.
I mean, I come from an era where my parents didn't really teach me about money. And when I asked them that, so they're in their 70s, who taught them about money, they didn't really get taught either.
That's right. That's right, because we don't have this discussion. If it is, then it's a discussion about selling something to you. Like with the first brother that logged in today, he was talking about some product, because that's how we're used to being used. It's always some product. It's not always about something about how you're going to do, what you're going to do for yourself, how you're going to build up yourself, what you're going to do. You know me, who? Well, who can I give my money to other than myself, other than my family? Oh, wow, we've been so socialized, and we have to stop thinking. And then we think, well, if you talk to your children about money, then they'll worry and they'll think that you're broke. The only way to improve something is to discuss it. It has to be acknowledged. It has to be acknowledged. Amen. Everybody that's in the studio, there's like the only King Hollis and Rosita have the cameras on when I gave explicit instructions, and Ms. White. I gave explicit instructions that everybody that comes in there on camera. But you cool though, Sadie, because at least you have your camera on so I can get your energy. I can see you saying, no. But everybody else has their camera off. Give me some love. Give me some love. Yes, indeed. I need that family love. I need that family feedback. I know you'll say next time, I'm not going in there. So, tips for a successful family finance talk. The first thing to do is schedule it. But think about how many people, won't schedule it. They're like, well, I don't, they just think they can just, pop up. Oh, we're all here at dinner. Let's just talk about that. My mom will do that a lot about stuff. But, people really need to mentally prepare Like you need to tell them, oh, when we get together in 2 weeks, I would like to get together and let's, talk about planning a series of family financial discussions. And if you do that, I can put together some key questions for you, won't I, Rosita? Like I'll put together some key things that you need to think about. What I would think that I think that you should discuss and explore. Yeah, boy. The technology is having a time. I know I hear y'all chatting, but a lot of it I cannot get. So I apologize. But the if you put in and you let me know, I'll pop somebody out of the studio so you get these. They in there, they want to chat, they can't. Look, so well, look at this, right? So schedule it, start small, and assume that you're gonna have multiple conversations. You're gonna, like your first conversation might be about like, tell me about how things were when you grew up. How was your family financially? What was their perspective? Like some people grew up in an environment where all they talked about was being broke all the time. And we ain't gonna make it. I can't pay the bill. So when you find that out and they tell you, well, my parents or we were always getting put out or we had to move or always had to find try to find out where the root of their financial mindset comes from. Because sometimes, people have that poverty mindset, but they, don't know where it came from or didn't acknowledge it or won't think about it. And it's really outside of their control because they're not broke anymore, but they keep wasting their money because their mentality is broke. So if your mind thinks you're broke, you will do self-destructive things and create brokenness. Y'all feel me on that?
Yeah.
And you get to it and you go like, oh my goodness, why did I buy that Bentley? Oh my goodness. I know I need to pay my school loan or so, it's like, oh, maybe they won't let the school loans ever start back, ever. So I'm just going to, there are people doing that. And that could be part of the whole concept that they're allowing people, Diana, to just go into, additional debt because the school loan is not coming up on the debt to income ratio. Wouldn't that be horrible? Because the payment's not due. So that we can help increase the economy and help build the economy so they can lower it, but think about how much money. If somebody had a school loan payment of $600, now their credit report doesn't say that $600 is due. It says zero due. So now they can go out and get a car for $700 or more. And soon what's going to happen in June? That payment's going to be due again. Yes. What a tangled web. What a tangled web. I'm gonna bring it up just so that y'all can see them. I'll see if I bring it. I think now your microphone will come on, Ms. Lawson or Mr. Lawson. But how you doing, Diana?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
That's so good. Good. Let me see your beautiful face.
Oh no.
Come on. You are not. Oh my goodness. She playing. Y'all know Miss Charles is not shy.
But hey, JP, I grew up around a time where people would buy cars, and those were statement pieces. And you'd always see someone in a new Mercedes or Cadillac, and that was like, you making it, you're doing it.
That's
And
right.
then as a person my age, I'm in my 40s, I don't know how they're doing it.
That's right.
Because it's God.
That's right. Exactly. You are at the right place. Thank you. I'm sorry. Goodness gracious. Amazon. Could you hear them ringing the doorbell? Amazon was like, kept ringing the doorbell and kept calling. The other poor ladies or a man is like, what? Let me help them. Good. But yeah, we had like, it was like, these were the things that had to show that they were successful. I remember, growing up And my father was pretty like not buying things, but once he finished his PhD, he bought the biggest Cadillac ever created, I think. I think it was like big. And he said that that was like his reward for going to school. But he got a scholarship for school. He probably spent more on that car than it would have cost for him to pay for all of his own school. If I said like, Dad, this is how much that what I mean, Cadillac costs. And after that, I think that he figured out, even though he was an educator, and sometimes educators like do make some bad financial decisions, and then they'll say we don't get paid enough. Nobody gets paid enough. So we all have to just learn to make decisions based on what we get paid, not what you feel you deserve. You feel me on that? Miss Charles, you feel me? Because a lot of people feel like they deserve, right? We deserve a whole lot more than what we want to finance. Deserve. Like it just doesn't. In my opinion, now, after having had to pay bills, and there's never been like anybody to just like, oh, here, give me this. I never got a scholarship for anything, so I've always had to pay for every speck of my education. In my opinion, it feels like I deserve to be free. I do not deserve to owe anybody anything. And that's why I want to continue to study on the developing our own family private personal banks, because I do feel that there is some potential there for our community and our financial futures. We have to start paying more back to yourself, or learning how to pay yourself back, or at least starting to learn how much interest costs you, how much financing things is really, how much it's really costing us, and we don't really think about it. The same thing, it keeps happening with my computer notes as well. Our next note: write down talking points or an agenda before you meet. We're talking about scheduling the meeting, starting small, and choose a comfortable place, and make sure you schedule. Limit the number of family members that are in it at the beginning. You might want to just that first time, just do it with, say it's just something you need to talk to your parents about, and you have 3 or 4 brothers and sisters. You might want to do it first. Y'all just have a casual talk and say, I was thinking about like let's doing some conversations together. Because see, what happens a lot is people designate a responsibility to a person, and then the other siblings don't know anything about it. And then it becomes a respect issue that they feel like somebody is trying to hide something from the other. So I feel that we need to make sure that when we have family decisions and you make family financial decisions, if you say, oh, Michael's going to be the power of attorney, and Bob is going to be the a medical representative, and Sarah's going to be what, but that needs to be known. So write down the talking point, but it might take a couple of meetings before you get to all of those type of things. And this might be a discussion just between you and your husband. And it might be about, let's have some meetings and let's talk about, who's going to pay the cable bill. That might be the goal. That might be something that's really irritating you. And you're just like, he watches the cable all the time, and you don't feel that you should watch the cable. So instead of like, you're going to pay that cable bill next month, you know what I'm saying? Like, actually have a discussion about all of them. Because sometimes when couples do that, I'll find out that one couple that thinks that the other person is getting over, is generally, the other person feels the same way about something else. And they need that conversation is really helpful so you can see both sides, or see if you can work together. I remember very, very early in my career, I realized that family finances is so touchy. And I remember this man coming in and he wanted to set up an investment account and he brought his wife and his wife looked at him and said, why you ask me to come here? We ain't going to be together. I was so embarrassed for him. I was so embarrassed. But she was like, you can do this any kind of way you want. I am not going to be with you. It's over for us.
Wow.
At least she told him then, though. He could have put both names on it. Exactly. Look, I guess that would have been worse, right? King Hollis, it would have been worse if she had said to him. He would have had to give her half of it. And she could have told him then. She could have told him next week. Oh, and by the way, tell JB to send me half of that money you just put in.
Yeah, that would have been worse.
So there's a good way of looking at everything. Look, I guess that was embarrassing, but I remember, like, he is still a good client. Like, I just can't remember her name, though. Not funny. But I remember, like, I knew his mother was a client, and his mother referred him, and then he was like, I'm going to get these things together. And I mean, he was all down. So that meeting was so important, though, because he learned. And I must honestly say, I have never had a meeting where the man was fussing out the woman, but I have had several family meetings where the woman is tearing into the guy, just beating him down. I'm like, whoa. I mean, it was so bad, I started crying. And the man was like, just don't cry, JB, don't cry. But it hurt. It really hurt. It hurt to see that. And it was only because he didn't want to purchase a house and she wanted another house. And she said, I'd divorce you if I could, but I don't want to go through a divorce again. That's so sad. She's not living now. But it was over a house. So we need to, talk about these things. And if you look at it, it really was a good idea that he said, I don't want to go into debt. He said, I don't want to go into any additional debt. Our house is paid for, because what if he had done that and the house wasn't, you know what I'm saying? She would have still died. Exactly. And he would have had this new house and this new house note by himself.
Yeah.
So thank God. But she was ticked. And so I think that a big part is when we take it in small bites, that it allows hopefully the emotion to come out. But when you come up with stuff and you just, you know what I mean, just pop it on people, it's more likely. Like if they had told me, well, we want to talk about the house and he feels this way and I feel this way, it was less likely that I would have started crying. Because I might have been already poised that, they're in conflict about this. But I had no idea. Like we were just talking about investing and it just threw me out of nowhere. But, so you will have family members that feel that way. Like, whoa, like you're coming out of nowhere with this. Or if you have someone in the family that's terminally ill and you break it to them in this meeting, and you want to continue to go on and talk about stuff. No, that's enough for one meeting. The next meeting you discuss, what would you like us to do? What do you need us to do? How will we pay for this? Do you have long-term care? Do you have, but don't try to put so much in one meeting. Take notes. Avoid like name calling. And I can say that, right? Because I've seen it happen. Like, avoid the name calling. Avoid like calling someone irresponsible or, I can't do that because that you won't take care of things and stuff like that. Don't do that. Just, listen and talk and make decisions. And matter of fact, if somebody is irresponsible and they're not the person for it, it's not worth discussing. Take it like King Hollis would. Just say, this is the way it's going to be. Do it like a soldier. This is it. You don't need to tell them why. You don't need to, this is it. This is a decision. You've known them 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, whatever years you've known that person. They're not going to change. You know who should be your executor of your estate. I've told you all before about my uncle who set me as executor of his estate, but never told me. That's not good. I did not know. So none of what he wanted was done. I was told way after the funeral. And he had in his will how he wanted his funeral to be done. So the estranged wife did what she wanted. And then told me, oh, you're in this paperwork. And that was only because they needed me to sign off on something. Be careful. Communicate. If my uncle had just done a family meeting, and said up front, like, hey, this might be some issues, so I want you to know so that what I want can be done, I would have made sure it was done. So my goal for the family finance discussion and, is to just help us love on one another financially. I want to help us pass on more wealth. I want to help us start the conversation about family financial issues, family financial goals. I think that a lot of financial duress for couples even let's just go back, like say somebody was about to get married and they're listening to this. I really think that they should do a family financial membership to Afro Economics so that they can get an unbiased person to talk to them about, they should run their credit report for me. They should do their financial planning module for me. They should do their risk tolerance for me. They might find out that one of them is very aggressive investor and the other one is very conservative. They might find out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But don't wait until after you're married to find that out. We might have our discussions in financial planning, and she might find out that her future husband doesn't want to work. She might find out, well, he said that once y'all get married, he wants to stay home with the kids. Like, you might already have kids together. But if we don't get in these discussions, you don't find that out. I have seen in several situations where after they get married for a little while, the woman quits her job. Haven't you seen that, King Hollis? She's out. And I'm like, there's no way that she would quit that job if she was single. I saw this interview on TV, and this lady said she just quit. She just came home one day and quit. She said, oh, my husband was very understanding. He didn't have a choice. She said, I came home and I told him that I quit. Like, what is he going to do? Because they've been socialized that they have to accept that. But what if a man came home, told his wife, I quit? He'd be the worst dude in the world. It's not something, but what a double standard. What a double standard. We have to stop. I want women, I want us to be as responsible financially, as unemotional. Like, you run into situations and the woman is the breadwinner. She has all the money, the majority of the money. They've been together 10 years. She is convinced that he should get nothing. 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 And she just doesn't want to be together anymore. If that was the other way around, what would we be saying? Oh, that's not right. You have supported his career. He supported her career. It was like Mary J. Blige making records about her husband, that he, hey, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. And I just, I don't think that we are really having the discussions and the conversations that we should be having about the reality of our family finances so that we can actually build things together. How about When one person wants to finance everything and the other person is tired of going into debt.
And then what it looks like for the kids or whoever's underneath them that have families, and then their, generation behind us is like credit, credit, credit. They don't know
Yes.
what the word save is. Save what?
Yes.
But then they're showing some of them are saving. So it's like you don't know what to.
Yes.
They look at you and, you finance. They don't really realize, at least I know when I was a young person, I didn't know what my parents did in order to get the house. I didn't
That's
know
right,
what it was like to get a light bill. I didn't really know those things until
That's
I
right.
did it myself. And I was like, man, they did a whole lot. And then if you got sports or activities, what they pay, you didn't, as a child, you don't realize how much money they're spending now. And, then when you start to have a family, you kind of like, feel like you don't even have a way to kind of understand how to do things because you look at your family where they were just doing whatever and didn't realize.
They made it look so easy, right? They made yours. Mine, no, was totally opposite. I was terrified about money. My parents, like, I don't have any money. I would ask them for $1. I don't have it. And I was like, and my father was the president of a college. And when I went to school, it was like, you better figure it out. And I had 2 or 3 jobs all the way through college, no meal plan. I hustled. There, like, this is like, that's how I did it. That's how you're going to do it. You're the one that didn't get a scholarship. That's how it goes. That, and I can't even imagine that with my daughter. I can't imagine that. But it made me the entrepreneur. It made me like the person I am. Like that. Because if I hadn't gone through that, there's no way that I would have started a business in my 20s knowing nothing about what was ahead for me. But I had already lived my whole life like that. Like, make it work. In high school, I was like, I need some lunch money. My mom would go, didn't you just babysit? Did you? So it's like, you have money. And I would have to use my money. So many parents, like, including myself, my daughter uses her money for herself. Like you were saying about that second, third generation. It's about how do I get her to see everything that I have gone through. Like, it's so hard, like, to communicate that. And I'm hoping that these discussions on Sundays will give us, just a chance to kind of like, JV, I went through this week, or how do we get a kid to so-and-so? How do I, speak to, and I know, like, I don't know, talking about spouses and stuff like that is what we can do one-on-one. But I think that, but when people are sitting, like some people are in there, hopefully with their husband, hiding behind the camera, like, you know what I mean, saying like, honey, yeah, we need to do that family meeting. We need to schedule it. We need to set that up. Even it might help that we have it with JB. But you might have like the second or third meeting with me, the first and second just on getting things together. But I think that it is, really worth it to just, say that these are the ways that I want it to be, even pre-nuptial and during nuptial. I don't think that money is worthy of the chaos that it creates. It's not supposed to get the amount of energy that it gets in relationships. But I think that we just don't we don't feel, especially when people getting married older. So if people get married and they're 40 years old, even in their 30s, they have maybe not developed that I have to ask someone else about what I do mentality, because they're so used to doing whatever they want to do. So that's something that we could talk about, like how getting married older, or and combined families. You got people getting married with 2 kids, she does, and 3 kids that he has, or vice versa. Or someone has no children and another person has a lot of children, and they're married. How does that impact that person? How does that impact the person that has one child, and then there's a person who has six children? They come together. That one child becomes one of 7. Is that the way it's supposed to be? Or how do you make sure that you talk it through? King Hollis is like, no, that's not fair. But I remember talking to a family member about that, because they married a person with 5 children and they had 1 child. And I said, your 1 child's financial position is immediately shifting. I said, you might want to go in and talk about that. You and him talk about this before y'all get married. And she said, no. Oh, everything is great. I didn't even want to bring it up because when you're in bliss, people don't want to hear the truth. It's so sad. It's so sad. So just didn't want to hear the truth. So then, of course, what happened, King Hollis? 5, 6 years later, they want to ask you your advice on it. And I said, nah.
Then you're going to have a large problem.
It's a large problem because you're thinking it through. You're thinking it through. Think through the hard stuff when everything is really good. When you can say everything is good. Yeah, you ain't even never get in an argument before. Let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you like this. My kid is getting all of mine. You know what I mean? You need to know if they're like that. If they're like that, you need to know. All of mine. All of mine. Tell the truth. Tell the truth because some people are like that. I don't want your kids and they want to get married. I don't want to get knocked. So it needs to be known.
Exactly.
It needs to be known.
Exactly.
Up front. Yeah. And then the other person needs to make the decision. Like, do you realize what you're walking into? Do you realize what's going on here? And yours might not get anything because you want his or her to get everything. So it's like, those are things to, talk to because it probably can reach some sort of compromise once they just know that their child will be okay. But children from previous marriages, it's real. It's real. So all of these things, to do in our family meetings are very important things to do. And also on our family bank idea that I have on creating your own private family bank, I want to move forward. I think I'm going to pull that out of this and just make a session just for people who want to do and create the family bank. And we could talk about options on how to establish it, how it can help, how it would work, and what we should do, moving forward on that. Instead of taking one of these generic, it'll be a private members only discussion on that family bank, even for people who sign up for the free membership. But you just need to get signed up. Go to afroeconomics.org. You all like that idea? Thank you so much, Rosita. Thank you so much, Star. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Monica. Monica, you're not going to let us see you a little bit? Ms. Lawson, Mr. Lawson, we can't see you a little bit. I'm going to put them on there. Look, we have a lot of people in the studio. I'm not sure who Janine is, but Janine is in there too. We are doing it. Well, I appreciate you all. This has been a great way for us to kick off our family finances. Even Deborah Stansel, good to see you. Yes, indeed. Even the chatting started working again. Mr. Johnson, good to see you. Thank you. I'm glad that you are safely back in our nation's capital. Oh, yes. Miss Howard, thank you. Yes, indeed. Y'all know who that is. Queen Howard. Don't let me get you confused. How you doing, Miss Fleming? Awesome information right back at you. Who was that? Somebody tried to say something? No. But between the technical challenges and everything, you all, your beautiful faces looking at me, it makes all the difference in the world. One day you're going to need my help and I'm going to be there right for you too. Thank you. I love each of you. Have a good Sunday night. May your team win. Love y'all. Uh-oh. Take care. Thank you. Thank you, beautiful. How about baby? Karen said, get live. It doesn't want to let go.